So hello friends, so in my today's video I am going to explain what are X-linked recessive diseases and why they occur in males mostly and why they don't occur in females. And finally at the end, that is, I want to discuss, can these X-linked recessive diseases occur in transgenders? Now I request everyone, that is, to write the opinion regarding the question, that is, can X-linked recessive diseases occur in transgenders or not, by writing yes or no, if yes why, and if no why, by comment. So let's begin. Friends, see this diagram. So this diagram shows the normal human karyotype, and this diagram shows the total number of chromosomes found in the humans, and that is 46 number of chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes found in the normal human body. Now you also see that out of these 46 chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes, they are normal. That means in both human male and human female, that these 23 pairs of chromosomes are same, and therefore that these 22 pairs of chromosomes are known as autosomes. But see that this 23rd pair of chromosome is different in both males and females. So here in females it is XX, but in males it is XY. And since that this 23rd pair of chromosomes decides the sex of the human, so therefore that this 23rd chromosome is also known as sex chromosome. So that's why I've written that in humans, whether male or female, the total number of chromosomes is 46 or 23 pair out of 23 pairs of chromosomes. So here 22 pairs of chromosomes are same in both male and female, whereas the 23rd pair of chromosomes is different in both males and females. And since the pair of chromosomes decides the sex of the human, therefore that this 23rd pair of chromosome is known as sex chromosome. And also I've mentioned that these 22 pairs of chromosomes, they are same in both males and females, so therefore these are known as autosomes. And this 23rd pair of chromosome is different, and this decides the sex of the human fetus, so this is also known as sex chromosome. And as I already mentioned that in females, that is, the sex chromosome pattern is XX, whereas in males it is XY, as you can see from the diagram shown in the figure. So therefore I written that female sex chromosome pattern is XX, whereas male sex chromosome pattern is XY. That is all about the basic introduction of chromosomes. So friends, now I am going to discuss how transgenders are born. See this. As you already know that whenever X containing sperm fertilizes the X containing ovum, in that case the sex chromosomal pattern of the future baby is XX, and in this way that is a female baby is born normally. And you also know that in this case not a single part of Y chromosome is present in the sperm, and the sperm contains only X chromosome or the parts of X chromosome. So therefore that due to fusion of X containing sperm and the X containing ovum, that is a normal female baby is born. So this is a normal. But now I want to discuss, so here basically condition related to transgender. But before discussing the transgenders, just a little information that I want to show. See that? So here this is a Y containing sperm, and this is X containing sperm, and this is the ovum which contains always X chromosome. Now see that in this case that is female baby is going to be developed, and also that this X containing sperm is going to fertilize this X containing ovum. But before the sperm, so here fertilizes the ovum completely, you can see that some parts of Y chromosome get transferred to this X containing sperm. As a result, that this sperm contains X as well as Y chromosomes, and so this sperm becomes abnormal, and this abnormal sperm, so here fertilizes the X containing ovum. As a result, that is the sex chromosomal pattern of the future babies also gets disturbed, and it is become abnormal. So here it becomes the XXY. Why? So this is a sex chromosomal pattern after this. So this is the reason. So therefore that I've written that in a rare case when the X containing sperm is going to fertilize the X containing egg, then some of the parts of the Y chromosome transfer to the X containing sperm, and the sperm now contains both X and Y chromosome parts, and that this sperm fertilizes the X containing egg. Basically the sperm containing both X and Y chromosomes have fertilizes the X containing egg. And due to this reason, that is transgenders are born. So this is the main genetic abnormality. But as you've already seen that in case of transgenders, only that is abnormal pattern occurs in the sex chromosome, but no pattern occurs in the remaining 22 pairs of chromosomes. So therefore I written that in transgenders, autosomes are normal but sex chromosome affected. So therefore that is chromosomal pattern of transgender is XXY. And so you can also realize that this transgender is also like a male. So here, like if we remove this, so here in transgender, that due to additional copy of X chromosome along with masculinity characters, so here feminism characters are also developed. So therefore, so see, in transgenders there is an additional X chromosome. As a result, such individual has both masculine and feminine characteristic development. Masculine characters like deep voice and feminine character like breast development. So these are only the here basic information. So here related to transgenders, and here and what. So friends, now I'm going to discuss what are dominant and recessive diseases. But before discussing these dominant and recessive diseases, you should understand little bit about a normal situation. So friends, as you already know that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, and in each chromosome there are 2 chromosomal gene copies, and both of these chromosomal gene copies are essential for the proper morphology and the function of the human body. So therefore I have written that in every chromosome of human body there are 2 copies, as you already know. So therefore 23 pairs, and both the copies of the chromosomes essential for the proper morphology and the function of the human body. So this is the normal information. Now I am going to discuss you. So here that is dominant and recessive diseases on the basis of the chromosomal pattern. So see that this is the normal chromosomal gene copy, and then this is the affected chromosomal gene copy, and if this is present then this will lead to an abnormal chromosomal gene copy, and if these are present then they will lead to normal chromosomal pattern. So therefore that I have written that dominant and recessive diseases are based on these chromosomal gene copies. So friends, see that in this chromosome, both the chromosomal gene copies they are normal. So therefore that this pattern leads to a normal chromosomal gene copy. Chromosomal pattern or normal chromosomal gene. So therefore that is normal chromosomal pattern. So therefore no disease. But see in this situation, that in this situation that is one of the chromosomal gene copies is affected, and here both the chromosomal gene copies are affected. So due to presence of the abnormal or affected chromosomal gene copies, then this chromosomal patterns, so here they are known as abnormal chromosomal pattern, and this abnormal chromosomal pattern will lead to a disease in future. So now see these two diagrams. So now that in these two diagrams you can see that one of the chromosomal gene copies is affected, and as a result that both these chromosomal gene copies lead to an abnormal chromosomal pattern. And similarly that in this case that is both the chromosomal gene copies are affected, and these also lead to an abnormal chromosomal pattern, and such type of abnormal chromosomal gene copies lead to a dominant disease. So first only see this part 1 and 3. So in part 1 and 3 that is any one of the chromosomal gene copies is affected, as a result dominant disease occur. So therefore that I have written that on the basis of 1 and 3 it is clear that if any one of the chromosomal gene copies is abnormal or affected then the dominant disease will occur. Now So now friends, see that on the basis of part 2, it is also clear that if both the chromosomal gene copies are abnormal, then also the dominant disease will occur. So this is about dominant disease. So now I am going to discuss that is recessive disease. So now see that in this situation that is a chromosome has two affected gene copies. That means both the gene copies of the chromosome are affected, and then this also leads to an abnormal chromosomal pattern, and this abnormal chromosomal pattern leads to recessive disease. So therefore see that on the basis of A, it is clear that for recessive disease to occur, both the chromosomal gene copies of a chromosome are to be abnormal. So this is the only information of dominant and recessive disease that I want to give. So if you have not understood this, then don't worry, then only simply remember this. So here this is the main summary of dominant and recessive diseases that I want to discuss. So for dominant disease, that here I have written that, see that in this case that is one of the chromosomal genes is affected, but in this case both the chromosomal genes affected. Now if any one of this is occurs, if this occurs, then also dominant disease will occur. If this occurs, then also dominant disease will occur. See, so here both these abnormal chromosomal patterns can lead to a dominant disease. So therefore that I have written that this dominant disease occurs when both the chromosomal genes affected or any one of the chromosomal genes is affected. So this is the main summary. And similarly for recessive disease also see that only that this abnormal chromosomal pattern, so here will lead to recessive disease. Now here see that in this case both the chromosomal genes affected, then only that is recessive disease occurs. But if any one of the chromosomal genes is not affected, then this recessive disease will not occur. So therefore that in this case that this abnormal pattern will not lead to any recessive disease. That this abnormal pattern will lead to only a dominant disease. So therefore that I have written that this recessive disease occurs when both the chromosomal gene copies affected. See, so here in this case both the chromosomal genes affected, so therefore recessive disease occurs. So this is the only basic information about dominant and recessive diseases that I want to give. So now after understanding this recessive disease, you can easily understand that is what are X-linked recessive diseases. So friends, see that. So now you can easily understand. So here both X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive diseases. So see that this is the affected X chromosome and this is the normal X chromosome. So now see that in this situation that is both the X chromosomes of the sex chromosome affected, but in this case only one of the X chromosomes is affected, but both these are abnormal gene copies or abnormal chromosomal patterns, and both these abnormal chromosomal patterns so here lead to X-linked dominant disease. So therefore X-linked dominant disease can occur if any one of the X chromosomes is affected or both X chromosomes is affected. But see that this X-linked recessive disease occurs only when both the X chromosomes are affected. So this is the main basic concept of the X-linked recessive disease. So now I am going to discuss what are X-linked recessive diseases and why they occur mostly in males. So friends, as you have already understood that these X-linked recessive diseases are those diseases that which occur due to the defect in both the X chromosomes or both the gene copies of the sex chromosome, and these are known as X-linked recessive diseases. So just simply remember that for the X-linked recessive disease to occur, both the X chromosomes are to be defective, whereas for the X-linked dominant disease, X-linked dominant disease to occur, if any one of the X chromosomes is defective or if both the X chromosomes are defective, then also disease will occur. But in this case I want to mention about X-linked recessive diseases. So just simply remember that X-linked recessive disease will occur when both the gene copies of the X chromosome or both the X chromosomes are abnormal or they have defect. So therefore that I've written the definition, that is X-linked recessive diseases are diseases occurring due to a defect in both the gene copies of X chromosome. So now, so here what are the examples of X chromosome, like color blindness, hemophilia A and Leschnian syndrome. So these are the, so here basically definitions and examples of X-linked recessive diseases. Now I want to discuss that is why this X-linked recessive disease so here occur mostly in males. So this is my next topic. Why in males mostly? So first of all you have to see that, understand a pattern. So before discussing that, so here that this is a defective X chromosome, this is a normal X chromosome and this is a normal Y chromosome. So as you already know that the sex chromosomal pattern of the human male is XY. Now both these X and Y chromosomes of the sex chromosome, they are essential for the proper morphology and the proper function of the human body. Now as I have already considered that this X is a normal X chromosome and this Y is also normal Y chromosome. So in this case, due to normal sex chromosomal pattern of the sex chromosome, that is the sex chromosome is also normal. So therefore that is no disease occurs. But as I have already mentioned that this X chromosome is also essential for the proper morphology and the function of the body. So if this X chromosome is defective, so then the proper function and the morphology of the body will also affect. So now see that. So as I have already considered that this is an abnormal chromosomal pattern of the sex chromosome. Why? Because the X chromosome is defective. So due to the defective X chromosome, that is the sex chromosome is also made defective. Why? Because the chromosomal pattern of the sex chromosome is affected. As a result, so here there is X-linked recessive disease will occur. So here this is why in case of males. So as you know that in males there is only X chromosome, is only one X chromosome is present, and if that X chromosome is made defective, then the whole proper function and the body of morphology of the body will be affected. As a result, X-linked recessive disease will occur. So this is the main reason. Now let's talk about female. So here in female, as you know that there are two sex chromosomes, there are two X chromosomes. Now if any one of the X chromosomes is affected, in that case, so here abnormal chromosomal pattern of the sex chromosome will be done. That is abnormal sex chromosome will be produced, but no X-linked recessive disease will be occur. Why? Because that this defective X chromosome is made under dominated by this normal X chromosome. But if both the friends see that if both the gene copies of the sex chromosome or if both the sex chromosomes so here present in the female, they are defective, then abnormal sex chromosomal pattern will be done and also abnormal sex chromosome will be done and also X-linked recessive disease will occur. Why? Because there is no normal X gene to under dominate the or to do under dominate, or simply you can understand that there are no chance of under domination of the disease. So therefore that simply remember that in females X-linked recessive disease will occur only when both the X chromosomes are defective. So therefore all these portions are written that the male sex chromosomal pattern is XY, both X as well as Y copy of sex chromosome essential for the proper morphology and the function of the human male body. If X chromosomal gene copy of the male body is defective, then the morphology or the proper function of the body will be affected, as the body function will be done on the basis of the defective X chromosome. See this. So this is the main, so here representation of what I have spoken. Now next part. So here that is, now the female sex chromosomal pattern is XX. Both of these X chromosomal copies of sex chromosome essential for the proper morphology and the function of the body. if any one of the sex X chromosomal gene copies is made defective, then X-linked recessive disorder does not occur as the defective X chromosomal gene is made underdominated by the normal X chromosomal gene. But in females, X-linked recessive disease will occur only when both X chromosomal copies of sex chromosome are defective. But this is very rare. So see, so this is the explanation of what I have spoken. So this is the, so here heterozygous, that means only one of the X chromosomes is affected, but then no X-linked recessive disease. Why? Because that is normal X chromosome, so here makes this defective X chromosome is underdominated. But in case that is when both the X chromosomes are affected, then the disease will occur because there is no chance of underdominance, but this case is very rare. So this is what I want to explain. So after understanding all these concepts, we have to just simply remember that all those portions we have which are written in red color. So this is the summary, that X-linked recessive diseases occur mostly in males because males have only one X chromosome, as we have seen, and this X chromosome becomes defective in these diseases. So the proper function and morphology of the body is affected. But X-linked recessive diseases rarely occur in females, though one of the X chromosomes is made defective, as the normal X chromosome makes the defective X chromosome as underdominated. So this is the main concept. So friends, so now in this part I am going to show here how transmission of X and Y chromosome occurs from parents to offspring. So now simply that so this is the X chromosome which comes from mother, and this is from father. That this X chromosome that is at each time will do fusion with this X chromosome and also with this Y chromosome. Similarly this and this. So here in this way, so therefore basically offsprings are produced. So this is how, so here transmission occurs. So here there are many cases I have discussed through which that is X-linked recessive disease just can transfer from parents to offspring. So here case 1, when mother has a single defective X chromosome. Case 2, that is when mother has 2 defective X chromosomes. Case 3, that is when father has defective X chromosome. Case 4, that is when father has defective X chromosome and mother has a single defective X chromosome. And case 5, when father has defective X chromosome and mother has 2 defective X chromosomes. And I think that if you see all this pattern, you can easily understand. So for, if you want to understand for a proper knowledge, you can see this and take the screenshot. See the video and just. So this is only that I want to show how transmission occurs. So you can easily understand. So till now, that is, I have taught you introduction of chromosome, how is sex of the baby determined, and how transgenders are born, and what are X-linked recessive diseases and why they occur mostly in males. So these are all the basic information that I want to give. But the most important topic that I want to discuss today in today's video is that can X-linked recessive diseases occur in transgenders? So now, so friends, that I want that you please pause this video and write whatever is your query. That means whatever you think. If you think the answer is yes, then write yes and why also. And if you think no, then write no and why. So have you done this? Okay. So now I am going to discuss, but before discussing this, I want to again revise you the concept of transgenders. So here, as you already know that is in case of transgenders, so here that some parts of the Y chromosome, so here get transferred to the X containing sperm before this sperm fertilizes the ovum. So the sperm containing, so here that is both X and Y chromosome part, so here fertilizes the X containing ovum. As a result, so here abnormality occurs in the chromosomal pattern of the sex chromosome, that is XXY, and due to this, so here that is transgenders form, and also due to the presence of this additional X chromosome, so here in such persons along with male characters or masculine characters, so here feminine characters also develop. So therefore all these are basic informations I want to give now. And I also discuss about why females have less chances of getting X-linked recessive diseases. So as you already know that in females, that is 2 X chromosomes are essential. 2 X chromosomes are essential for the proper morphology and function. But as I already mentioned that whenever any one of the X chromosomes is defective and other one is normal, then the defective X chromosome is made under-dominated and its effect is reduced. Whereas the normal X chromosome is made dominated and it shows its actions for the proper functioning and the morphology of the female body. So as this defective gene is made under-dominated, so therefore that is X-linked recessive diseases don't occur in females though there is an abnormal sex chromosome. So this is the case when any one of the X chromosomes is defective. But here that in this case both the X chromosomes are defective, so in this case the disease will occur, but I don't want to mention this. I want to focus only this when any one of the X chromosomes is defective. And friends, if you see my diagram of case 4 and 5, or if you see all the cases, then you can see that so here 2 X chromosomes, 2 defective X chromosomes, they are paired in the next generation only when both parents, that is father and mother, they have defective X chromosomes. If father has normal X chromosome and mother does not have, then also that is pairing of 2 defective X chromosomes will not occur in the next generation and vice versa. So this is the basic information I want to give. So now that is what I have written, I want to show. So the first of all, it is a normal, the sex chromosomal pattern of 23rd pair of chromosome in transgender is XXY, and the presence of an additional X chromosome that feminine characters develop along with masculine characters. Now I want to discuss transmission. So that again this is a defective X chromosome, normal X chromosome and normal Y chromosome. So now case 1 that I have discussed, that father has defective X chromosome whereas mother has normal X chromosome. So in this case also you can see that the sex chromosomal pattern of transgender is XXY, defective and normal. That is 2 defective X chromosomes don't transmitted and pairing of 2 defective X chromosomes don't occur in this case and in this case, because only one parent has defective X chromosome. Now as I have already mentioned there, so here that is how a defective X chromosome is made under-dominated by the, so here normal X chromosome in female. So that this is a defective X chromosome and this is made under-dominated by this normal X chromosome. Now, so here that this is a normal, so this is the situation when any one of the parents, so here that is gives defective X chromosome to the transgender. Now see that in this case also the affected or defective X chromosome should be made under-dominated by the normal X chromosome. That means I want to say that this defective X chromosome should be made under-dominated by this normal X chromosome. So if this is made defective, then most of the actions should be done by this normal X and Y chromosomes. So therefore I have written that so most of the actions for the function and morphology of the body should be done by the normal X and Y chromosomes. So here if this happens, so this can be assumed from this to this. So this is been under-dominated. Only these 2 normal X and Y chromosomes are going to show this. So therefore I have written that so one of the X chromosomes is made under-dominated, so the morphology and functioning of the body due to additional chromosomes should be reduced. if the effect of this additional chromosome is reduced, then their character should be like male. So therefore, according to me, that the answer is no. That is, in transgenders, that these X-linked recessive diseases don't occur. And if these X-linked recessive diseases are to be transferred, then most of the characters in such persons will be like masculinic, because one of the X chromosomes is made under-dominated. So the feminine characters due to addition X chromosome will be reduced. Hence, this is my answer, no, because the effect of the addition X chromosome reduced. So the sex chromosomal pattern becomes the XY. So the masculine characters will develop more than the feminine characters because the effect is reduced. So therefore they will not remain transgenders, because due to this, so here the presence of these two normal X and Y chromosomes, so their proper functioning and morphology of the body will be look like normal biological males. So genetically they have this additional X chromosome. See that is genetically they will have this additional X chromosome, but its effect is reduced. So therefore that these two normal chromosomes will do their function for, that is, morphology also. So therefore that is phenotypically they will become males. So this is my opinion. So what is your opinion? So I think you have written. So that's all.